Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the F123 My Team Career Mode journey for Cross GT Racing. We are getting ready for round 4 in the first season. We just came off a really good performance in round 3 at the Miami Grand Prix. This is our first time racing this event outside of doing the time trial runs that I do to determine what difficulty I need to set it on. We didn't play F122, so this is our first actual personal experience with the track. I mean, I've seen the track, I've seen, the real life race for the Miami Grand Prix. I've seen other creators do it in F122 and in F123, but this is our first time actually driving it, and it's not an overly challenging track from what I can tell from my initial I guess run on it. For me it is a little bit challenging because one, it's new, and two, we're not the most consistent team on the grid. I'm not the most consistent driver, but still a lot of fun. We started off in P17, got knocked out in Q1 by Nico Hulkenberg, only 300ths of a second in it, so not much really separating us. But a really good start for us managed to bump us up into P12, where we sat for most of the race. You can see here we're hanging around with some of these front runners. We're sitting there behind, I think there was Signs. No, oh no, this is later on in the race when we're behind the Alfa Romeo. Never mind, we were up the front for a bit, getting towed along. Late race strategy meant that we did drop down to P14 by the end, after we were sitting in P12 for a bit. There's a nice shot of Sergio Perez holding his winner's trophy as he claims maximum points there for his team. I do believe he did have fastest lap for that race, so good on him. Another double podium for Mercedes as well, I might add. So they're definitely pushing Red Bull to the limit in the early start parts of this season. Nice little marketing department event there, focusing on getting the team acclaim up so we can get more sponsors onto the car, into the team, more money rolling in, and really boost our facilities up, preparing for getting some points in season 2, and then possibly even challenging for championships as early as season 3. We've got ourselves a wing mirrors upgrade for the aero department we're looking to have on before the Spanish Grand Prix. We're going to utilize the discount we got on the cable assembly part last time, 82% discount. There's a nice shot showing the fact that we have the best power unit on the grid. We have a Ferrari power unit, and yet we are better than Ferrari on paper, which is great. And a spark plugs, I think there was a spark plugs upgrade there, 60% off that one as well. So saving ourselves a ton of development points and getting some pretty good upgrades, hopefully on the car before the Spanish Grand Prix, before round 5. Just having a look there at our engine components. We're going to have to look at changing those at some point soon. We've got a lot more in this game than we did in previous games before we have to take penalties, and we are almost a quarter of the way through the season. Chassis department event here, all about morale. Our morale's pretty good in the chassis department, so I'm not fussed on getting like the massive increase in morale, because we're not going to really gain anything more from that. So we'll go in the middle, 10% increase in morale, which should keep it pretty good. I think that should pretty much max it out. And we do get a little spending money, a little 15k sitting in there. So we take a look through the facilities. We could look at doing some upgrades. We are going to do a build time upgrade for the powertrain department. Will help for hopefully get some more parts on faster. But we are going to have to start increasing the spec level of them so that we can unlock more upgrades. Otherwise we'll be stuck at a bit of a standstill for development, which isn't too bad at the start of the season, but heading towards the end it might become a bit of an issue. We skipped ahead of the Pirelli event, just a nice easy way of getting some extra cash in the bank. Nothing overly exciting there. Practice went really well. I felt reasonably comfortable there. I do believe we're going to Imola, a track I do really like. A lot of discounts coming through. Team acclaim. We're now team rank 8, so another 2 levels, and we can get, I think we get another sponsor on the car. I think rank 10 we get a second sponsor on the car, or technically a third sponsor because we've got a main sponsor that we started off the season with. So yeah, things are really looking up for us. We're really just going for it with the team acclaim. Q1 car felt pretty good in practice, so I'm reasonably confident here, and this is a pretty high speed track as well, so I feel like having, you know, that really good power unit and a really light car thanks to our chassis department upgrades we've got paired together means that we should be able to do reasonably well here. Our first lap is looking it's looking relatively tidy until that last little bit there. A little bit of a kick out from the rear there, so we had to overcorrect a little bit and went off the track, but still managing to put through a decent time as we come up to the line. A 120.9, so they were currently sitting in P9, so we're pretty safe for now in Q1. Going to try and go for another lap here. You know, sitting around about where the pace that we had in the first lap. Now that our tyres are properly warmed up, lost a bit of time there heading out of that long left-hander, and we went from being pretty much on par with our previous time to being 6/10 down. We managed to gain a lot of that time back. We did go wide at that top section of the hill there in the previous lap, so we've gained a lot of time back, but then we missed the apex down there at the bottom of the hill. That corner is always really tricky for me because the car likes to slide a lot down on that part of the track, so a bit of time lost there, but we didn't have a slide up at the top there after the chicane, so a couple of tenths up. Only a slight improvement at this point. We're onto the gravel a little bit, so that's going to cost us some time, but it does set us up for a decent apex heading into that last corner. We gained some of that time back. We're almost 3 tenths up. And we do finish the lap 3 tenths up, 120.6, which pushes us up in a P6. So hopefully that's enough to keep us there. Into Q1, nothing changes from there. P6 for us in Q1. I was pushing quite hard there. The other cars on the, I guess the grid on the leaderboards there in Q1, those aren't relatively good representative times. You know, obviously Q2 and Q3, a lot of those teams will increase their performance and get much better times. Us on the other hand, I'm always pushing when it comes to qualifying, so Q1 time is me pushing. You know, and if I get to Q3, that's me basically just tidying up my racing line as much as I can. You know, I don't play it safe in Q1. I need to make sure that I can get pretty safe time there to get through, because as I've said in previous videos, the better that we do, we're good in qualifying. We have really good one lap pace, and we can't maintain that through the race. So if we get a really good starting position and use the other front runners around us as we go P2 there, less than a tenth of a second behind Russell, really good lap there. A 120 flat by the end of Q2. We're only dropped down to 5th, so we are right up there with these front runners. We're ahead of the McLarens, we're ahead of Perez in the Red Bull, Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. Alonso's up there in the Aston Martin. He's got a penalty for some reason, so he will be losing some spots when it comes to race day. But yeah, as I was saying, we've got really good one lap pace, but we can't maintain it through the race, so we need to try and utilize the DRS, the slipstream, all that sort of stuff to try and get the guys at the front to pull us along so that we can finish further up the grid than we really should be at this point. But we are pushing our way through Q3 now. It looks like we got purple through sector 2 there, which I don't think really counts for much because this is our first lap, so I don't really know how many of the other drivers have put in a lap yet. So purple through sector 2 for us doesn't mean too much. I mean, that's gone now. We're now just green in sector 2. So someone else has obviously done a faster time. As we come up to the line, a really good lap here. A 1:18.6. So we've improved by almost 1.5 tenths there. We have got some fresh soft compound tyres on there, but we finished 6 tenths ahead of Lewis Hamilton at the end of qualifying, at the end of Q3. So a massive increase in performance there at the end. I don't know if it was the fresh tyres that did it, or if we just had like a really good lap, but that lap felt so good there. I don't feel like I really could have done any better with that. I was pushing as hard as I could there, so massive finish for us there in Q3. It should really put us in a good position for the race. So hopefully we can capitalise on our P1 position.
Hello there and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters wearing red today, and they've all turned out for what we're expecting will be a sensational event here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. The captain lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Verstappen, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Ocon, Bottas, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Magnussen, Albon, Sainz, Hulkenberg, Joe, Sargent, De Vries, Fittipaldi, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Okay, this is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix, which means there's a lot of very important people here behind the scenes. I'd love to give them a strong result to watch today, plus a good result might make my post-race meetings a little bit easier.
Well, I'll certainly try and do my best to make your post-race interview as easy as possible. But I somehow don't think they'll be asking you some easy questions when they find that we started P1 and we didn't finish P1. But it's a massive win for us there to get pole position for this race. So hopefully that really works out well for us by the time we get to the end of the race. Looks like it's going to be a medium hard compound race today. 5 red lights. And we are off and away for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Ferrari's home Grand Prix, or one of 2 home Grand Prix for Ferrari. And right off the bat, Charles Leclerc punches his way up into the front. Hamilton has dropped back into P4. We obviously dropped back into P2. Russell starting off on that soft compound tyre, so he makes quick work of us there. And he is now marching his way up to the front. Leclerc's got a bit of a gap between himself and Russell now. A little bit of a slide from us there at the bottom of the hill, but we managed to hold on to the car, and hopefully we can just let these guys up the front pull us along. Starting off on the medium compound tyre. I would assume that these guys here on the softs, guys like Russell and Norris, will probably be pitting straight onto the hard compound tyre earlier. So they'll be fast at the start of this race, and then there'll be a crossover point where their pace starts to drop more than ours, and then hopefully we can utilise that time to either work our way back up through the places that we've lost, or we can then use them to tow us along until they go into the pits. And then they'll be onto the hards, and then when we go into the hards, we'll have much better tyre wear or tyre performance heading through that last part of the race as their tyres wear down earlier than ours do. Charles Leclerc obviously getting the fastest lap there, crossing the line first. But they're not really pulling away from us at this point. Like, I figured they'd be off and away, but there has been a bit of a battle between these two, so they are essentially slowing each other down, which is great for me because then it means that I can stay within DRS when it gets activated. I've just brought up on MFD the engine component and tyre wear part, just because right off the start there we were told that there was a engine part. We're going to be some lack of performance because of the wear on it. Looks like we've got George Russell looking to make a move here on Leclerc. He is right behind him. He's all over him. He's got the pace. He's got the slipstream. He's just looking for that opportunity to get back ahead of him. But there's just no gap there. So he's just biding his time. I mean, we're only on lap 3. He's still got 19 laps to go in this race. Plenty of time to make a move, as he's got the DRS now, and he's looking to make a move this time. He goes off into the grass a little bit. Leclerc trying to close the door, but Russell holds on there just enough to stay on the track. He's got the inside line, which turns into the outside, but then back onto the inside again through those 3 tricky corners there, and he manages to make the move stick. He gets ahead of Leclerc. Russell now leading this Grand Prix. Leclerc still tucked in right behind him in the slipstream, and we are benefiting probably the most from this as we go right up behind Leclerc there. He was pretty hard on the brakes there, and we tried to brake a bit later, which could have initially worked out well for us if we had managed to react a little bit faster, but unfortunately we've actually lost out there. But we were probably the big winners in that battle between the two of them, because you know, they're towing us along here, so they're essentially keeping us up in the points where we really shouldn't be. As we look behind us, we've got now we've got a bit of a battle between Norris and Hamilton, so it's all going on around us. We're kind of keeping our nose squeaky clean in the middle by not really getting into a fight with anyone. We're getting towed along by Russell and Leclerc, which is keeping us away from these two here. They've both got DRS, and it's just a sprint race down the front straight. They've been side by side for ages now, and eventually the deadlock is broken, and Hamilton manages to get back in front, or get in front of Norris. So Hamilton is now up into P4, but while that was all happening, Leclerc and Russell have swapped positions. They swapped multiple times. They had a battle as well. So Leclerc is now back in P1, Russell in P2, and we're now right in behind these guys. As you saw before, we almost had contact with Russell. I don't know what happened there. He must have lost some traction or something. Threw us off our line, and now we have lost quite a bit of time to them. We were in the DRS range. Now we're outside of it. But no doubt they will keep battling and hopefully slowing each other down so we can catch back up to them. Hamilton and Norris still battling behind us. I am outside of DRS range to Russell. Hamilton has DRS, but he was outside of DRS after the detection point. Norris making a move on Hamilton now. These guys battling once again. This time Norris manages to stay alongside him, heading through that second corner there through that set of 3, and now he's managed to jump back up into P4. So it is all happening here today. We're only on lap 6, and we've had, I think, 2 or 3 lead changes. P4 and P5 have been swapping positions back and forward, and we are just coasting along nicely in the middle. Well, I say coasting, we are pushing a lot here to stay here. But all this battling is keeping us up the front. Russell makes a move on Leclerc. He's now back in front, and we don't get slowed down this time. We are now just tucked in right behind Leclerc, but we miss the apex. We go off onto the gravel. Massive mistake from us. And as we come back onto the track, Norris comes flying up and almost takes us out. Or to be fair, we almost took him out. And during that as well, Hamilton also capitalised and managed to get back, or not back in front, but managed to get in front of us. Now we've dropped down into P5, using our ERS to try and gain some track position back. But these guys are so much quicker than us. They are battling, so we do have a chance to get back in front. Norris hard on the brakes. Hamilton makes a good move. He gets in front. We look to go around the inside of Norris in that second corner through that set of 3, but can't make it happen. We are sitting P5, and it looks like Russell and Leclerc are starting to pull away. So even though they are battling, they are increasing the gap they have on other guys behind them. We look to make a move down the inside of Norris. too far back though, didn't really want to risk it. It's only lap 8, we're only 8 laps in, and we are sitting P5 at this point. We've got DRS on Norris here. We do have the pace. He tries to squeeze us to the inside of the track, and we managed to make a good move on him. He ducks in behind us to get into that slipstream. I thought maybe he would stay on the outside and try and go around the long way and overtake us. But he is on soft compound tyres, which means that his tyres are probably wearing down a bit. Russell heading to the pits now. Norris heading in as well. So the soft compound runners are starting to head into the pits. Our pit window is now open. We can go into the pits if we want, but I feel like we've still got some decent pace here. So we're just going to see how we go. We are quite a bit behind Hamilton now. It was, what, 3.8 or 3.7 seconds at the beginning of the lap. We're now halfway around the track, and it's now 4.6. So we are losing pace to these guys. Now that we don't have the slipstream to pull us along, our pace, or our lack of consistent pace, has been exposed. Verstappen right on our tail, and same with Perez as well. The two Red Bulls looking to move their way up. Perez overtakes Verstappen there. Everyone's heading into the pits now. We're going to head into the pits as well and go on to some hard compound tyres. Verstappen coming in as well. So it looks like, yeah, a lot of the medium runners are coming in. Only a lap after the soft compound runners. So I feel like maybe the soft compound guys have got a bit of an advantage now, because they will have warmer tyres than we're going to have. These hards take a bit longer to warm up to get the grip that we need. So those guys are going to be at an advantage because they're going to have that extra grip now. And the tyre wear by the end of the race, the difference between our tyres and theirs is probably going to be negligible. They're going to have about as much pace as we've got, but they will have that extra pace from having warm tyres a lap earlier than we do. So it could be a bit of a hard race for us from here. Although in saying that, because of when we pitted and the pit strategy of others, we're back up in P5 and we don't have to make another stop. So now it just comes down to pace. We've got Piastri behind us, he's second behind us, although Verstappen is now past him. There's a little bit of a battle going on there. Hamilton 4.8 seconds ahead of us. We only lost 2/10 from the compound change there. So I'm pretty happy about that. Lap 14, we're doing really well. We're sitting up with the front runners. And Verstappen and Piastri are battling away. The gap is now 2 seconds. So those two battling is actually helping us out a lot and keeping us up in the top 5. We're not going to be able to catch up to Hamilton at this rate. He's now 5 seconds ahead. So those front runners are pulling away. But the guys behind us, they're squabbling back there for P6 is actually helping us out a lot. As we've got a green flag here. It looks on the mini-map like there is a yellow flag. So now we've got a caution. We've got a yellow flag through Sector 2. I'm not sure what's going on there. It looks like it might be one of the Aston Martins, potentially, because there's a bit of a gap opening up there. There's an Aston Martin further back. And it is an Aston Martin. Fernando Alonso out of the session. Quite possibly just an engine failure there, or a component issue of some sort. So early on in the season, pretty rare, I would say, for that to happen, although we have had some in the last races, but I think those were more gearbox issues than actual engine, like engine wear and, engine components breaking down. But that does help us out a little bit, because we were at the front of that pack, which means that those guys further back would have been slowed down thanks to Alonso having to retire from the race. Lap 17, Verstappen and Piastri are still squabbling a little bit, although Verstappen has got a 4/10 gap over him. I've been looking at the numbers a little too much and I've gone off the track, which now means that those guys are going to catch right up to us. Verstappen makes quick work of us there. Piastri looking to make a move as well, but we close the door on him. And we've now dropped down into P6. Now Piastri and Verstappen, we're going off the track again. The grip's just not quite there. I'm a little bit distracted by the fact that I'm now being chased by the faster guys. I should be just focusing on my driving, but I'm not. So we're now losing time to Verstappen. Hopefully we can we can at least stick with him and have him tow us along. But we will just have to wait and see as this last part of the race moves on. Although we have managed to catch up to Verstappen, I feel like I am a bit stronger through that chicane than the AI. I can get on the power a little bit earlier. We do have DRS as well. We are using the ERS as well. We're trying to use all of the power that we have to get ahead of Max here. Maybe we can hold him back a little bit and then get into a bit of a battle with whoever's behind them. Although in saying that, now that I've looked, Perez is now the guy behind him in P7. He's gotten ahead of Piastri. Norris is now light years ahead of us. He's 11 seconds in front of us. We go off onto the gravel. Verstappen makes us pay for that mistake there, and now we're back in to following along behind them. Logan Sargent now having to retire from this race. I'm not sure what that was, but he is all the way at the back, so that's of no consequence to us. And as I take a look on the map, I also see Fittipaldi is way back there as well, so probably not a whole lot of team claim coming from his side of the garage this race. But if we can maintain this performance that we've been putting in today, we hopefully will be able to gain a lot more to make up for what we don't gain from him. DRS right up behind Verstappen. We're going to go on the outside here, but we're late, very late on the brakes there. Oh, and it just doesn't really work out. We're all over the place. Although, no, actually, no, it does work out. We do manage to keep Verstappen behind us, only because we managed to get back across onto the track before he could get alongside us, and we close the door on him. Very messy racing there from us, and we are bunching up the cars behind us. Missed the apex there. Verstappen looking to go up the inside, and we cut back across in front of him, which slows him down and backs up the rest of the guys behind us. A little bit of a gap there that we've made thanks to the aerial view here, riding along in the helicopter. We go off track again, missed the apex around the bottom of the hill, but we do manage to use that so that we don't slide, because I've been sliding a lot down in that section throughout the weekend. Not a whole lot of traction when you're braking downhill, but we are managing to maintain some pace and some track position. Verstappen has got the pace on us here. He's going around the outside. We duck back down the inside. He gives us some space, and we have a much better line heading through there. We straighten up, and he had to slow down a lot to stay on that apex, and we managed to stay ahead. But again, it's only a tenth in it. We go off onto the gravel. Verstappen goes back in front, and we can't get up alongside him, heading into the left-hander there. So he gets the better of us this time. Perez has got all the pace in the world in that Red Bull, so he goes up along the inside. But we've got some pace around the outside. He gives us some space, and we make him pay for that one and get back in front of him. Early braking into the bottom of the hill, way off the track there. Luckily we don't get a warning for that one, just because we didn't get on the power as much as we could have, so we didn't really gain anything from that. We were already ahead of Perez anyway, so we don't have to give the position back. The engine is now a nice bright yellow colour on the MFD there. Hopefully we don't have any issues in this last lap of the race. We are right behind Max, 6 tenths behind them. Hopefully we can try and make a move and get up into P5. That would be the ultimate goal here. We don't have any chance here to make any moves, but hopefully we can just stick with them. We've got a little bit of battery left. We're starting to use it just to keep up with them this last little bit. I'm starting to use it here. We've got a couple of corners left in this race. Can we make a move on Max? Very late on the brakes. Down the inside, he gives us the space. We get ahead. One corner left. As we go around, we close the door on him. We're going to have DRS here. Not that it matters. As we cross the line in a last-ditch effort, we managed to get ahead of Max as both Red Bulls pass us after the line. P5 for our team. Massive result for us this week. George Russell, driver of the day. I think he also took the win, but that's huge for us and our team.
Flag then here in Imola in what has been another outstanding Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, How do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take the top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So Russell wins this race, beating out Leclerc in what was a pretty epic battle between the two of them all race. Another double podium for Mercedes as well, Lewis Hamilton getting P3. So that will help them out with their points. But big story of the day, newcomers Cross GT Racing in the fourth race of the season, in the fourth race of their young team's career, P5, 11 points. We ended up getting the fastest lap. I'm not sure if we had that before the end of the race or if we had it, if we got on that last lap, but we managed to beat out Max on the second to last corner to claim P5. Huge result for us this race. All thanks to the fact that we managed to get P1 in qualifying with a monstrous lap, and then we just used the slipstream of all the other front runners to keep us ahead of the rest of the pack. As we take a look at the driver standings though, Verstappen has dropped down into P2. Hamilton takes P1 in the Drivers' Championship by 1 point after 4 rounds. George Russell in P3, only 11 points behind his teammate. So Mercedes, their consistency is what's keeping them in there, and they've also overtaken Red Bull to jump up into P1 in the constructor standings as well by 13 points. Not helped by the fact that I overtook Verstappen, relegating Red Bull to P6 and P7 this race. We jump up into P6. We've now got 15 points. We've jumped ahead of Alpine. Huge weekend, not only for us but for Mercedes as well, and Red Bull. You know, they're losing out thanks to my performance, I would say. Not solely my performance, but huge implications our P5 finish there. But you know, what a finish there. What a finish that we had. Points, you know, extra acclaim, just everything worked out really well for us in this race weekend. Super stoked with how we, not only how we finished today, but just how we performed. I know at the end of the race, in the last part of the race, you know, we were, you know, all over the track. Our racing line was off. We almost had a couple of incidents there where we could have been out of the race. We could have taken drivers out, you know, but we managed to pull it together enough to get an amazing result for such a young team, you know, punching well above our weight this weekend. I'm sure Ferrari will be extremely happy with that. They've got one driver on the podium, Leclerc in P2. We had a P5, so they'll be stoked with that performance here today. But that brings us to the end of this race weekend here at Imola. If you did enjoy the video, leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought. I've got a lot of thoughts about this race, all good ones as well, by the way. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. It would really help me out a lot. And I look forward to seeing you guys all in the next round as we head off to the Spanish Grand Prix. One of my favourites. Should be good. Hopefully we can get another really good result. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.